And welcome back, Puppy. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to ESL Open Cup Americas. I apologize for that break, but we have returned and we are jumping in mid-series into our next match. We're jumping into game number 2 of this best of 3 quarterfinals match, and oh boy, we missed out on a banger of a game. It was a 25-minute late game TvP, and the Protoss player takes a lead. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our French Terran player, who should be the favorite player to make it to the semi-finals, but he is struggling in this series. He needs your energy, he needs your support to bounce back. It is Clem for Team Liquid. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Mystery Gaming. Oh,
game paused.
As we do get a bit of a pause, which will give me a moment to set up the player names. Blue. Okay, bam. Just give me a moment to set up the player names here. Again, he is going by an alias here in the Americas. Oh, I didn't know who it was. I did not know who it was initially at the start of the broadcast, but we have found out it is a Chinese Protoss player, one of the best Protoss players in all of China. It is Cyan. And I'll set up his alias on casting tool. We'll set it up. But yeah, we have seen players like Cyan, Jason, and Firefly. We have seen them bring Clem down before. So if you remember, I did if you remember earlier, I was talking about how I would not be surprised if Cyan versus Clem goes all the way to the ace match. But for Cyan to be so close to winning this series already here, for him to be leading the series is impressive and exciting. It is exciting stuff. We have the potential to knock Clem out of the tournament before the semifinals. We'll see if it does happen. We'll see if it does occur. For now, we have a short break. Oh, never mind. I switched scenes just as we're switching back. There we go. In the bottom left, we do have Cyan. Our PVT continues. Unfortunately, we missed out on game 1. Game 1 was a long macro game, and Cyan came out on top. But this could still go either way. I mentioned before, I still stand by it. We could see Clem tie things up and go to the ace match, and then it can go either way from there. I want to believe. I want to believe that we can force the ace match. For the time being, we do have Cyan just checking for a proxy, making sure there's no shenanigans going on here at the linear third base location. Probe coming back. It's going to be a gate cyber expand standard opener here out of Cyan. Oh, never mind. Okay. Just misplacing the cyber core for a moment, but is going for a standard opener. Meanwhile, across the map, Clem going for the Rax expand. Economic start from our red Terran play. It is going to be an economic start. Max into CC, and I believe we went Marine first as well. Okay, so we skipped the Reaper. Bold move. Basically, Clem, no SCV scout, no Reaper scout, no scout, period. And we're just cutting corners, going for the CC, going for the reactor, calming things down, settling into our game. So it is a little bit greedy here from Clem, but we can see that Cyan isn't really hiding anything. You know, there's nothing hidden back at home. There's nothing crazy going on. Nothing crazy whatsoever. As we have our tech structure of choice, it's going to be a Twilight Council for Cyan. Going to be a Twilight Council follow-up. Looking ahead towards Blink. As our Adept is moving out across the map just to get some scouting information ourselves for the Protoss. How many gates so far? Second gateway gets thrown down. This could be 3-gate Blink into a third. I wouldn't be opposed to that. 4-gate Blink is not really seen too often on Amphion just because of the map structure, just because of the map layout. Nice sort of stepping out of Clem does force back the Adept. So we do threaten the Shade towards the main. Okay, the Shade is cancelled. Adept backs off. Blink is on the way. And still just the 2 gateways. Just the 2 gateways as Clem is settling into his starport. Based on the opener, based on the CC timing as well, I'm sure that Cyan will open up and follow up economically. I don't expect us to double down into a 2-base all-in or anything crazy like that. Into 2-base play. As the second gateway is now done, a Robo is being thrown down. The question becomes, do we throw down the Bay after or before the third Nexus? How safe or how greedy do we want to be? Okay, safety shield battery, and we are actually mining through the mineral patches on the left-hand side. we're working towards the triangular third instead. Okay, interesting. A bit of a safer expansion. One of the big features of this map is the mineral wall. You can mine through this, gain access to another base, and this base is so secure. You have to knock down rocks, you have to mine through minerals to gain access to this area. And likewise, even if you do, there's ramps. There is the high ground advantage. So very secure third bases, as Clem is reinforcing, moving out with our first Cyclones. And 2 Cyclones, Mass Marine, no stim. Shield battery is done, but do we have an overcharge? The army has arrived, does focus on the first Stalker. We do have Blink. 1 Stalker goes down. There, the rest have arrived. Shield battery is targeted. Overcharge not going to be a factor. And Clem, he does enter that mineral line. He does head towards the mineral line. Probes are going down. 5, 6, 7 probes. 8 probes. Oh my god, we will clean this up, but 8 probe kills is very worth it. Get even more. We come back too soon. We come back too soon. 13 probes going down. That should not have happened. 14 probe kills. That is an insane amount of damage. And we're not done. We have a Liberator poised to go into the main. Very, very ambitious dive there at a Clem, but we weren't able to overcharge. We weren't able to have our army in position. There were like 3 or 4 Stalkers in the main. It took a long time to rotate over, and in the end, Cyan bled out far too much. Clem takes a lead. A massive lead. And now the pressure is now on Cyan to bounce back. Again, Cyan did not spot the move out either, so we had no idea the army was being sent on the right-hand side. But Cyan is going to be stuck at home and he has some catching up to do. We could try to take a risk and go for some drop play or go for a Dark Shrine. Stalkers are moving out and they have to. Picking off SCVs, a tank, anything is required here for Cyan. But Clem is so secure. We have 2 tanks in the low ground. We have a bunker as well. We have the Raven, which catches the Observer. Oof. Things are looking dire for Cyan. Picks away at the bunker, but cannot get the kill. Just not enough DPS, not enough firepower. Third base is getting up and running. And we will eventually catch up in workers, but again, we need more time. Do need more time. As we barely get the salvage on the bunker. Clem being as efficient as possible. He's being as efficient as he can be. Clem, sorry, Cyan in position to deny a drop. Could even dive into the natural. Once he does spot the move out. Speaking of, there's the move out. Stim and Combat Shield's about to finish up as the army moves out across the map. At the same time, Cyan can move in. And Clem is forced to turn back around. We catch an SCV, we catch a Marauder. So far, good pickups. And we will manage to get away. Oh, it does cost us a Stalker though. Yeah, that was 1 Stalker for a Marauder and a Marine. Not the best trade, but we at least keep the army pinned back at home a little bit longer. Did you delay the push? Back at home, what do we have to defend? We have 1 Colossus, we have a shield battery, we have an overcharge, we have some force fields available. We spot the army moving out, but it's going to be a tight hold. It's going to be a very tight hold here for Cyan, as he's just being eclipsed in supply. And Clem pushing forward. Colossus is good. We do have a 2nd Colossus, but the tanks are sieging up. Loving the movement with the Marines. We keep them in the back line. Make sure they do not get swiped. We do preserve them. Tanks within range of the bay. Stalkers try to focus on the medevac at least. The medevac stands strong. The tanks, they pop off against the Stalkers. So many Stalkers go down. The tank shots are insane. Oh, but Cyan will barely hold on. Did get 1 tank. The Colossus survived. We pop the overcharge a little bit too late to really make too much use of. And at the same time, a double drop on the left hand side. We get the mineral line. Yeah, we're just pulled apart. GG gets called. Clem ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Clem basically getting ahead with his first push, with his first move out. He was able to get 14 probe kills, which was an insane amount of damage. And from that moment, Clem took a lead and never let go of it. It was on Cyan to bounce back, but he was able to delay the push, only for a little bit though. He just had a very hard time keeping up with Clem. Had a hard time maintaining himself, and with that, we're headed for the ace match. We're going all the way to game 3. Let's go. Getting all the way to that third game. And this could go either way. Clearly, I would assume that Cyan is a little bit stronger in a longer macro game. If we can settle into the mid game, then I would almost favor Cyan. But I'm sure Clem is aware of that as well. That's why he went for such a strong timing in game 2 and punished Cyan. And I feel like that's where the strengths of Clem lie. If he can get a lead early on, he can just really apply so much pressure and take advantage of his opponent, like we just saw. Again, Clem is a very fast player. He's a speedy boy. A player like Cyan can have a hard time keeping up. And here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of site Delta, we have our French Terran, the red Terran player representing Team Liquid, tying things up and forcing the ace match. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Mystery Gaming. It is Cyan. Here we go. Made our way into the final game of this series. It all ends here. It all ends on site Delta. Cyan was able to win the longer macro game. Clem able to pop off early on in game 2. Snowball out of control. Here in game 3, I imagine a safe opener out of Cyan. I imagine we should be going into something like a Twilight Council, 3-gate Blink, into a third, into Colossus. Similar to what we just saw in the previous game, but something more important, something imperative, clearly is map vision and map awareness. To be able to get eyes on any kind of move out that Clem goes for. As we do see Cyan scouting, checking the linear third for a proxy before expanding. Cyan just making sure he's secure. Nexus on the way. Clem across the map, likewise settling in as well. Once again, the same opener. Similar opener. If you remember last game, Clem went for a Rax expand. This time it's going to be Rax into factory, double gas opener, but I believe Clem did, Clem, he skips the SCV scout, and he also skips the Reaper scouts. Goes reactor first instead. But we do have a lot of gas to work with. A lot more gas to work with this time, so it should be Reacted Reaper. Yep, there it is. Reacted Reaper out of Clem. So much more aggressive this time. Looks like Reacted Reaper Hellion into an expansion, not an all-in, but very aggressive. Cyan does have a probe out on the map. Does have it hidden at the center. There it is, Twilight Council opener. It's going to be Blink. Adept does shade across. And can we get a read on what Clem is up to? And we get a read. As the Reaper and Adept do spot each other. The rest of the army is kept hidden away from the shade. Uh-oh. And do we commit? We do! We commit to the shade. We get into the mineral line, and it looks like we will delay the CC. Nice kill, a nice snipe on the SCV. And we will confirm the additional Reaper production. Additional Reapers on the way. Hellions as well. Getting up to 4 Reapers. Do you see Cyan setting up a proxy pylon? Cyan also barely does not spot the rest of the army, but is getting ready on the high ground. Shield batteries still on the way. And the goal here for Clem is to bust into the mineral line. Is to get some probe damage. We do fully wall off. Just in time. We get the full wall off. The gateway. That's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Ay, ay, ay. The gateway goes down. Adept as well. We just rush past the army. into the main base, into the mineral line. How many probes can we get? We get one, we get two. Going for a third. 3 probe kills, 4 probe kills. 5, oh my god. We get the 5th probe towards the end as well. And now we're in some trouble. Cyan has bled out a lot of units, and we're not done. We're following this up with another drop. Clem, will he scout the proxy? As we're going for a proxy Dark Shrine. Risky move here out of Cyan. Very risky, but unscouted. Is going unscouted. Clem moving out towards the main base. Are we in position? We are. We have 3 Stalkers in the main. Stalker Adept at the natural. Looks like Cyan is going to be harassing with mainly DTs and keeping his Gateway Army back at home. Nice spread here from Cyan. Does put the drop. And drop diving into the main base. First Stalker does go down. Nice pick up here from Clem. And we're going for the medevac. Oh, we bleed out another Stalker. Okay, rough losses here for Cyan as he always bleeds out a third. So 2 Stalkers on the drop. Dark Shrine finishes, and now we can warp in. Now we can focus our attention across the map. What do we have to defend? We have a Raven. We have a Raven, but it's moving out. Oh, who is it? No! Cyan! As it looks like we have some latency issues. Now is not the time now. Thankfully, it's not in the middle of a fight. Not in the middle of a fight, but we're about to pop off with DTs. And the Raven is moving out, so there's potential for damage. But it looks like we do have a bit of a lag out, and if Cyan lags out, then we will resume from replay. We will resume, assuming that Cyan comes back. And here we go. Huh. Okay, we're back in. we're back, Poppy, we're back. And there we go, DTs warped in immediately. We have 2 DTs through the center. What do we have to defend? Do we have a scan available? That's the question. We do not, but we're about to. We're about to let the natural DTs. They waddle into the mineral line, into the natural base. 1 into the main, 1 into the natural. SCVs are now going down. And we need a couple more seconds for that scan. Yeah, the Raven is not back at home. We get the tank! The tank falls! More SCVs. Raven racing back home. And in a couple of seconds, we have our first scan. Scan into the main. But the army pushes in towards the natural base. Oh, Clem in a lot of trouble. DT waddling back in, slips by the army. And we can just take a fight. Yeah, the Cyclone falls. Clem barely has anything left. Stalkers are wasting DPS on the CC. We can't waste DPS, Papi. We focus on the Marauder. Marines are amassing. DT still in the main base, but oh, it's on a move on the production. Get into the mineral line. We have so much potential. Oh my god, a bit of miscontrol here. That DT could have been wreaking havoc the entire time. SCVs are now going down. We're still getting some of the army. Still a very tense moment. Catching a Marine, catching more SCVs. DT's cleaned up. And we do take down more workers at the natural. Just a very chaotic moment here for both players. And we could have done a little bit more. We sniped the Raven. Whew. And that means we need to scan. It looks like Cyan may have still done it. Despite a bit of miscontrol and a bit of a blunder, it looks like we may still have enough. There's a tank in the main base. We have a scan. We do barely scan in time. The army's locked in. But the tank is looking vulnerable. Tank is looking vulnerable. We shut down the reactor, knocking down that wall. DT going for the tank. Oh my god. We do have a turret in the mineral line. That's what Clem was trying to drag the army back in. GG gets called. We get the GG. I should have... GG, well played. Cyan does it. Cyan shuts down Clem. With the Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is just too much. I just realized I forgot to set up the scores in-game just because of the resume from replay, so I was caught off guard. But regardless, GG, well played. Cyan does it. Phew. Again, a very chaotic moment there between the players, but Cyan will advance on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Cyan. My condolences to Clem. Again, we've seen Cyan bring Clem down before. Game 1 was a more macro game. Game 2 was more chaotic with Clem in control. Here in Game 3, cheeky move out of Cyan, hiding the Dark Shrine, going for the proxy. Very risky move out of Cyan, but did work out in the end. It did go unscattered. Raven was not at home. Scans were limited. And yeah, Cyan able to snowball out of control. Congratulations. Congratulations here to Cyan. GG, well played. Crazy result. And that means we have our next series. We have our first semifinals of the night. I think I called that the semi. So we have Cyan advancing onto the semifinals where he has Max Packs ready and waiting.